Michelle Obama says she respects her daughter Malia's decision not to use her last name professionally. Mrs. Obama talked about it in an interview for the Sibling Revelry podcast with Kate and Oliver Hudson. Her comments come after Malia was credited as Malia Anne in a recent short film she wrote and directed. The Heart was screened at the Sundance Film Festival, and Mrs. Obama says her daughters want to distinguish themselves.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. All right, we have Michelle Obama. As you can tell by the thumbnail, Michelle Obama is talking about her daughters pushing away. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about what really is going on with the Obama family. Lots of things, and it involves another couple, but I'm not going to talk about that in this particular video. All right, but there's a lot of speculation out there, and you all tell me what you think about it. But before we get into the video, don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. Make sure you select all notifications so you get all the videos, and stick around to the very end. I kindly ask you, and you can catch me on Twitter as Linda B Podcast. You can also go on Instagram and TikTok as ChatWithMeLindaB. All right, so let's get into it. I want to show you a clip, and then I'm going to go over an article with you because Michelle was recently on Sibling Revelry podcast, Sibling Revelry, and it is hosted by Oliver and Kate Hudson. Okay, but I'm first going to share a clip with you, and then we'll get into the article.
Michelle Obama says she respects her daughter Malia's decision not to use her last name professionally. Mrs. Obama talked about it in an interview for the Sibling Revelry podcast with Kate and Oliver Hudson. Her comments come after Malia was credited as Malia Anne in a recent short film she wrote and directed. The Heart was screened at the Sundance Film Festival, and Mrs. Obama says her daughters want to distinguish themselves.
All right, so you heard that. And yes, her daughter, the older one, Malia Anne, dropped the Obama last name. This was last year. And she's in film, and it looks like, she did it for distinguishing herself, from the Obamas, because they don't want people to think that they're just getting handed things because of their last name. But other speculations are out there. And I'm not saying I know exactly what's going on in those circles, but I'm going to read this article with you. This is the Independent, and it states Michelle Obama has opened up about her two daughters and how they're continuing to separate themselves from their well-known parents. The former First Lady and her older brother, Craig, appeared on Monday's episode of the Sibling Revelry podcast with Kate and Oliver Hudson. Michelle discussed her oldest daughter, Malia's decision not to include her last name on the credits of her directorial debut. Where do we begin? Michelle said. Our daughters are 26 and 23. They are young adult women, but they definitely went through a period in their teen years. It was the push away. She continued, they're still doing that. And see, they're not in their teens anymore, and they're still doing that. So, people that are conspiracy theorists, so to speak, think that there's more behind it than them trying to make a name for themselves. She continued, they're still doing that. And you guys know this of children with parents who are known. You're trying to distinguish yourself. It's very important for my kids to feel like they've earned what they are getting in the world. Michelle said that her children want to make sure people don't assume they don't work hard or are handed things because of who their parents are. They want to be their own people, she said. The mother of two then referenced Malia's directorial debut at the 2024 Sundance Film Festival with The Heart. However, instead of the film's credits listing her as Malia Obama, she used her first and middle name, Malia Anne. We were like, they're still going to know it's you, Malia, she recalled telling her daughter, but we respected the fact that she's trying to make her way. Michelle's husband, Barack Obama, him, and his name was brought up at the Diddy thing, okay, has also previously discussed Malia's decision to leave off her last name and film credits during an appearance on the Pivot podcast back in October of 2024. At the time, he said he wasn't surprised by her choice. So this is no surprise to the former president. The challenge for us is letting us give them any help at all, he said about both Malia and his 23-year-old daughter, Sasha. I mean, they're very sensitive about this stuff. They're very stubborn about it. Despite Malia wanting to separate herself from the family name professionally, her father reminded her that people may still recognize her regardless. I was like, you do know they're going to know who you are still, Barack said on the podcast. And she's all like, you know what? I want them to watch it that first time and not in any way have that association. So I think our daughters go out of their way to try not to leverage that. However, as the Obama children have grown up, they have received more and more media attention. Now, as they've gotten older, there's been some paparazzi stuff going on and it drives them nuts. The former president said their attitude is we're not looking for all that. So they are grounded. Back to the things that people have been talking about now. There's been speculation that the children, we haven't seen any video of Michelle Obama pregnant. We haven't seen any of that. We don't know, any pictures of her like that or what have you. She has said or expressed that she went through miscarriages and that how that hurt them and the difficult time they had conceiving. And I'm like, I'm just looking at some things concerning her. I know everybody ages, but I'm just looking at some things like the low cutting blouses, and her body looks, I'm just going to say it doesn't look like mine. Okay. It doesn't look like mine. And with what I've been looking at recently, what's been going on with other leaders in the world and their wives, and this whole movement that's being pushed on common sense thinking people, it makes me wonder if there is something more nefarious at play with putting alphabet mafia people up in positions of power. You're like, Linda B, what are you talking about? Well, you know what the alphabet mafia is. You know what they said about the president of France and his wife. I'm just saying. And you look at people like Chuck Schumer's wife. You look at that, you look at Barack Obama and Michelle, you're just looking and it's like, even with the first President Bush, George H.W. Bush, the father, and Barbara Bush back in the early 90s. And I was like, wow, she looks a lot older than him. And I just kept, she looks like his mother. And then you see pictures of her young and you're like, I'm just saying, I didn't say, you just let your minds go where your minds go. But is there something else behind the Obama daughters distancing themselves? Is there more than just the push away? As Michelle Obama, the former first lady, stated, is there something else going on with them? And I'm just saying, we're not supposed to just pretend like we don't notice things and we're just supposed to just keep quiet, keep it hush, hush. You can't say that. But I'm looking and I'm like, my eyes are telling me that something is up here. Okay. Am I supposed to pretend? I'm not very good at pretending, just so you know. If you've been watching me any length of time, and that other couple, and you're looking at the girls and you're going, that's who Sasha looks like. Just all I'm saying, because I used to always wonder, who does the younger daughter look like? I mean, I could see the case with the older daughter looking somewhat like Michelle and Obama, but tell me what you think in the comments. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching my channel. Don't forget to smash like, comment, share, subscribe, hit all notifications so you never, ever miss a video that I post. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America, and march on, warriors.